Well, thanks for tuning in to Countdown. And the market has had a bit of a frenzied move in the last few minutes of trade. I don't know if this is with regards to PM Modi's address to the nation at 8, and if the market believes that maybe there could be some economic announcements coming in. I can't think of any reason why the markets would have done what they have done in the last few minutes. Look at the intradays, some remarkable pullback, more so in the Nifty Bank. But it's not just that, by the way. Look at the moves that we see in specific names. Vedanta is up 10%. Bharti Airtel has had a buzzing move today, 4.5% at 561 or 562. Giving it company are some of the NBFCs, the likes of Bajaj Finance, for example, are up 2.5% in the session today. There's some strength in the consumer names like Britannia as well. So that entire bucket is doing okay for itself. And what is not doing well? Reliance Industries is sulking in trade. Now, today is the last day to buy Reliance. If you want your name or your number of shares to be in the record books for the rights issue, but nothing stops future traders from selling this, or maybe just a call on how the run on the stock has just been too large. HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank both are sulking today. Keep that in mind. And the result boy Nestle, we are awaiting the numbers, but that stock is marginally lower in the session right now, 0.5%. Let's wait and watch if it picks up. But we can go on and we'll talk about specific stocks. But I think a small, tight, but an important interaction to kickstart the show today, Countdown, in a different fashion. Usually we get in our technical experts to do that. Today we're getting in Susmit Patodia of Motilal Oswal AMC to talk about his thoughts on the current situation right now. Susmit, good having you. Thanks for joining in. You reckon, in part, this excitement could be due to the market expecting some announcements? I know that you don't look at the short term too much for your investing, but just trying to gauge what is it that you guys are, Motilal Oswal, hearing about the market behavior currently.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to viewers as well, and thank you. So I think, fifth time lucky. I guess the markets are hoping that Honorable Prime Minister comes out with some sort of an economic package as well. I think there were some bites leaked out from yesterday's CM interaction with Mr. Modi, and it was very clear from those bites that most of the chief ministers are okay with the lockdown to continue. Hence, and with the zoning that is already in place, the only positive news could be some sort of an economic stimulus. And as we all know, that this was overdue probably last week. And maybe today is that lucky day.
Yeah, okay. So that's the short term really now. So Smith, I know you don't dwell on the short term too much. I'm just trying to figure out what is it that you guys at Motilal Oswal AMC are trying to are doing with your investing style right now. Are you looking at specific, are you bullish on the markets right now, or do you reckon that even though you may have to deploy cash because you guys are fully invested at all times, do you reckon that there could be better opportunities that could come in because the markets may show corrective moves?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that there could be better opportunities to come through. From the beginning of March, we have had this view that this is a three-stage crisis, not a two-stage crisis that we have seen typically in our lives. So there is a health, there is a economic, and then a financial. Unfortunately, this is a sequential crisis where the health has to resolve, and only then will the economic impact be assessed. This is very similar to being in a flood. You are cooped up in your house. You really don't know what the damage has been. Only when the flood water recedes, do you go down and check what the damage has been. So, I really hope and pray that we don't get a second wave, and the flattening of the curve that we're seeing all over the world continues. And so then we can go to the next step, which is to judge what is the economic impact of this pandemic. So, I also believe that the economic impact is a little underestimated. Probably yesterday was the first day when some of the economists put out a GDP negative print estimate. And I think this is a near certainty, according to our estimates as we stand. Dr. R.C. Bhargava also in the morning said that he expects a 20 to 25% decline in industry volumes in auto. So I think the picture is, the economic picture is a little sadder, but frankly, markets may not be too worried about it until the pandemic is over.
Okay. The other bit is, so Smith, we're seeing some bit of traction in the banking names today. I wonder if this whole bad bank conversation that is happening turns out to be true. I mean, would you reckon that it could actually help the sentiment around the banks? Because right now, almost everybody was over it financials in the whole bull run of the last 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, believes that financials is the one place that they want to stay away from.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring it up. But the interesting part is that a bad bank is going to be made for corporates or maybe for SMEs. It's very difficult to make a bad bank for the retail loans. And as you would know, the last 10 years of Indian financial services has been all about retail lending, right? Whether it be consumer durables, credit cards, or autos. So I really think that the bad bank will benefit very few banks. Most of the corporate lending was done by the likes of HDFC and SBIs of the world. I'm not sure how the retail would benefit from a bad bank. So I think there would be more and more divergence in the performances as these economic measures come.
Okay. By the way, viewers, just keep in mind the market's now bobbing between the red and the green, and I think this would happen. There would be, I mean, there's such a sharp pickup that everybody who went long intraday might come in and square their positions as well. And we'll talk to our technical experts in just moments from now to try and assess that. It's a very important last half an hour for the market. Susmit, just wondering, have you guys been constructive on telecom? It's a 2.5 player sector of sorts. Not too much option, and in fact, with one of you, I actually have to buy the other businesses as well. But there is traction today in the other two, which is Bharti as well as Vodafone. Now, there could be multiple things, including the decision around the AGR dues, moratorium, etc., coming about. But overall, are you constructive on this pocket?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We own telecom stocks in our portfolio, and the whole, as the joke goes, that the real technology change happened in all our lives thanks to COVID and not because of anything else. And the power of telecom or the necessity of a broadband at home cannot be emphasized more. This combined with the fact that the industry revenues are down nearly 40% from its peak leads us to believe that this could be a very, very important sector in the next 3 to 5 years. And there are a lot of things at play here, right? I mean, whether it be broadband, data, simple thing like tiering of customer. People like you and me pay the same ARPU as maybe someone else who may have 1/10 of salary. So we think if ARPU doesn't have to increase democratically, if it increases, proportionate to a pyramid, you could see significant upsides to the bottom lines of these companies.
That's such a brilliant thought and a way to look at it as well. And frankly, for Vodafone Idea to survive, and if ARPUs have to move up, so even if it's a 3-player market, the other two might actually gain disproportionately. So Smith, my final question, because you're slightly tight on time. It was lovely having you and look forward to have you more often. But just one final question. You guys are so well entrenched within the consumption bucket. The talk of town today has been one of the select peer reports, Goldman Sachs report on Asian Paints and how they believe that downtrading, price cuts, and therefore lower multiples is the order of the day for some of the discretionary staple companies, even if they are really high quality names. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think these names are extremely tricky. I would.
Okay, I think we just lost Susmit, but nevertheless, we got the pointers that we wanted to. One last point left, but that we'll ask our other fundamental questions. So we'll have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, though, for taking the time out and speaking to us today. I appreciate your time. Well, let's get in our technical experts. Viewers, remember, send in your queries. Our team would have already asked for them. We'll try and take them a bit later on in the show. But get in Brijesh Singh with quick answers, really, because the markets are really, really active right now. Brijesh, good having you. Brijesh Bhatia is with us. Okay, Brijesh, really good having you. You look at derivatives, you look at charts so closely. How is today's trade intraday looking, Brijesh? What if I were to put a gun to your head and ask you to take a position on the index, long or short, what would your bias be?
Definitely long, Neeraj, for a couple of reasons. First, if we look at the Bank Nifty to Nifty ratio, today we have been seeing a strong outperformance coming in from Bank Nifty in today's session. Especially if we look at the second half of the day where reverse is very much stronger. So we think Bank Nifty has seen a good sign of momentum. Second, if I just look at the GAN fan support, 3x1 support was exactly at the today's low. Positive divergence on 15 minutes chart in today's session after making a new low of slightly, though it was slightly 15-20 points, but we have seen a positive divergence. Third, if I just look at, we have seen huge writing coming in 18,000 port, 19,000 port saw huge unwinding. Plus, if you look at the call rating, we haven't seen much of the call rating coming of the higher levels, though it's 19,000 or 19,500 at today's session. So I think I would stay long on Bank Nifty rather than Nifty. I think short covering rally could be expected on ICICI Bank, could be expected on Axis Bank. That's the reason I'm playing home for the Bank Nifty over Nifty in today's session. And I think 19,300, 19,460 could be the target on the upside. One can look on Bank Nifty. So I need to dip toward 18,800, 850. Good buying opportunity, giving a stop loss slightly below 18,500 and look for 19,400, 450 on the upside.
Okay. Well, by the way, the markets have come off. Keep that in mind as well. And as I said, this will keep on bobbing between the red and the green. So be careful about that. Just that the trend in the last few minutes has been strong. Let's wait and watch what happens. What about specific stocks, Brijesh?
I have a couple of long bets. First, as I say, I'm expecting ICICI short cover rally to continue. At 320, 321, ICICI seems to be a good buy because we have seen yesterday's momentum on negative side. We started first half of the day on the negative side and huge recovery in second half of the day. So ICICI seems to be a good bet at 320, 321. Looking for target of 340 on the upside and stop loss can be placed at 312. My second way is on Jubilant Food. So if I just look at the Jubilant Food, it's been convincingly moving, sustaining above 1500. We have seen markets been tumbling, Jubilant Food holding its 1500 support. Today also we've seen 1520, 1530 on the downside and second half of the day huge recovery on the Jubilant Food. Plus if I just look at the volumes in today's session, we have seen good volumes in second half of the day purely from intraday basis. So I think this move could continue towards 1680, 1700 on the upside, and one can play a long bet at 1580, keeping a stop loss of 1540 on the downside, and 1680 is the level I'm expecting on the upside.
Okay. So those are some calls from Brijesh. Let's wait and watch how they shape up. Interesting and not wrong to be bullish, just that the markets have given way yet again. And as I said, this would happen. People who went long intraday would, some of them might just believe that it's better to come out and cover your longs right now or cover the positions right now and make some money. Who knows what tomorrow is in store. But Kunj Bansal joins in right now. There is visible excitement, Kunj, today. Lots of news breaks that will get in. Shruti, my colleague from Bloomberg, to speak about her story too. But just one quick question, Kunj. Are you a buyer currently in the hopes that some announcements from the government might stir up the market and there is value at some pockets, or you are staying away from buying right now?
So to answer your question, wherever we are getting additional inflows from our PMS clients, and we are getting from some of them, not all of them, we are buying. In fact, including today also, we are buying. Of course, not saying that the market has gone out or it may not go down now. It will continue to go up. I unfortunately don't have answers to those questions. But given the fact that results have started to come in, of course, all of us know there is continued COVID uncertainty that is still there ahead of us. And the point that you mentioned, that the expectation of stimulus from the government, is there. That is there in the market. If that doesn't come, that will certainly be a negative for the market, and that can bring down. Only thing is, there is obviously a delay from the government in stimulus. Market is still waiting that what kind of stimulus comes, how much is the quantum involved, and which all sectors it affects positively. But that expectation is still there, and that's why we have seen that, as we all know, in March, market went down sharply. From there, it recovered sharply in April, and has now moved into a range-bound movement of the market. So now, instead of market direction, I think the market has come back to individual stocks based on the results.
Okay. Now, by the way, so the important piece of news and the story that I'm talking about, and we should just get my colleague in just moments from now to really talk about this. But Kunj, just wondering there is a lot of buzz in telecom today. So aside of that major story around the markets, what can possibly excite telecom stocks?
So I would like to approach this movement in the telecom stocks from a slightly different perspective. As I just mentioned, that now we have moved into a market which is range bound in terms of large cap indices, pending any major triggers. Now, whenever that kind of thing happens, it's the sectoral movement that keeps happening. So if we just recall, yesterday it was the auto stocks which are holding on the index or taking it up. Before that, for a few days, it was Reliance, which was the sole torchbearer for the market to continue to take it up. in between, we indeed saw some participation from the BFSI stocks also. So in my view, it's more of a sectoral rotation. It may not necessarily have anything to do with the expected news or development, which if it is there, unfortunately, I'm not aware of that, so I can't comment on that. But coming back, to me, it looks like in a range-bound movement of the market, it's the standard sectoral rotation and the stocks rotation which keeps happening, which is what is happening today. And along with telecom, which has a relatively lower weight in the large cap indices, we also have support today from some of the metals and some of the utilities. So frankly, I am, at least as of now, unless I see the news, I am not in a position to read too much into this kind of movement. Yesterday, if we were discussing the market, we would have probably discussing that what is expected in the auto sector. Now, nothing came, nothing was to come, nothing has come, and today auto stocks are down.
And that's a fair point too. Just that some of the stronger pockets continue to remain strong, but the market has given way, as I said. But an important development that could be in the offing is what the Commerce Ministry is saying, right? They've proposed tax holidays, and I'm reading this out so that I don't make a mistake. They proposed tax holidays for companies bringing in new investments into the country. I think sources have told Bloomberg News that this is a part of the government's thrust on trying to support the economy. Shruti Srivastava, Bloomberg News, joins us right now for more on the story. Shruti, good having you. Thanks for joining in. This has created quite a bit of a matter when I tweeted it out. What is it that you're learning?
So we are being told by our sources that the government is working on a broader strategy to encourage and attract new investments in the country as the pandemic creates havoc in the economy. So the Commerce Ministry has made a proposal to allow companies which are investing $500 million and above a 10-year tax holiday. Now, this would be given only in those companies who are investing in specific sectors like telecom equipment, medical devices, and electronics. There is another proposal where, for labor-intensive sectors, it has proposed a 4-year tax holiday to companies which are investing $100 million and above. Now, these will also be given for specific sectors like textiles, leather, wear, and food processing. Now, and for this particular segment, for the labor-intensive segment, it has also recommended that after a 4-year tax holiday, there should be a lowered corporate tax rate of 10% for the next 6 years. Now, both these proposals, which have been sent to the Finance Ministry for consideration, both these proposals, they come with a condition that the companies which are bringing in the new investments will have to start their operation within 3 years, beginning June 1, as in June next month. Now, both these benefits, the Commerce Ministry is proposing that both these benefits should be given over and above the existing incentives, which these sectors are already eligible for. As the government is trying to bring the economy back on track, it is also trying to win investments which are moving away from China. So from offering them easy access to land to giving tax breaks to the new fresh investments that are coming in, this is a part of the broader government strategy. If you look, this is for the first time probably in 4 decades that the economy is looking at its first full-year contraction. Some 122 million people have lost their jobs in April alone. So the government is hoping that, by giving such incentives, it will be able to generate employment and enough interest in India's story. And by taking these steps, it will be able to put the economy back on track, more so when we see that we have a very limited fiscal room to support the economy.
Okay, Shruti, appreciate. Thanks so much for putting this story into perspective, and could be interesting. Let's see. We've had a few schemes in the past as well, but excessive tax cuts at a point of time when investors and companies are looking to shift maybe out of China into Southeast Asia and India, maybe these moves could help. We badly need investments coming in. Maybe these are good moves to look at as well. But let's focus on the markets. We have a bunch of queries that have been lined up as well, and I'm told Amar Singh is also joining in. We'll get in Amar's thoughts on the index in a bit, I think at about 320 or thereabouts. But first, some queries that viewers have posted. So Dylan Soero, I'm hoping I'm getting his name correctly, is asking for a view on United Spirits, and we have chosen this one because I think USL is an important one to address as well. Kunj Bansal, I want to first come to you on the fundamental. Let's try and make it short if we can. There's a bunch of queries here. Any thoughts on the liquor companies with the higher tax rates and no clarity on when will the lockdown open up? Would you bet on these companies like United Spirits?
No, I won't. You have the answer in your question itself that there is so much uncertainty around the taxation. let's keep in mind that with the state governments, only two pools of revenue are left. That is the fuel and the liquor, and that is what they will try to maximize revenues from.
Okay, well, so that's a snapshot. I think Kunj Bansal saying that he would rather stay away from United Spirits. Dylan, I hope that answers your question. Aditya Venkat is asking for some technical views on Asian Paints and Pidilite, the Kotak Bank too, but I'll stick to these two, Aditya, and I'll ask Amar Singh for his thoughts here. Amar, quick thoughts, Asian Paints and Pidilite.
Yeah, I would say Asian Paints, it seems to be forming a bottom somewhere around 1500 odd levels. Asian Paints has got some support, but technically, if you look at the charts, the weekly trend continues to be extremely bearish. So there'll be any pullback. So it's unlikely to sustain above the 1600, 1650 mark, with 1500 to act as a crucial support. Talking about the other stock which you mentioned, Pidilite Industries, what we are seeing is that this stock has now gone in for consolidation, because currently it's around 1355 odd levels. And it has got now very strong support coming at around 1200, 1250 levels, whereas on the upside, resistance is around 1450, 1500 levels. So I would say it's more of a range play. The long-term trend for the stock still remains positive on the quarterly charts, but it seems that the upside seems to be capped for the stock right now. So it's a range play for the stock.
Range play. Okay, Amar, I'll come back to you on Vodafone. So just prepare that analysis. In the meanwhile, Preeti Nair is asking for a technical analysis view on Biocon. Brijesh, you want to come in on Biocon?
Yeah, Neeraj, I would look to take a long bet. So if you look at the stock, it's down nearly 2.5% in today's session. But if you look at the structure, it's we have seen rally starting from 335, 340 to 365, and those levels are being retested again. And today's fall doesn't seem to be a good volume on cash or even on the future. If you look at, we are looking lack of volumes. So lack of volumes at support seems a good buy opportunity, and I think I would take a long bet, keeping a stop loss of 333 on trading bet. Back towards target to 360, 362 on the upside.
Okay. And that, as I said, there's a technical view asked by Nitin Thakur on Vodafone Idea, short term. So I'm guessing he's asking for a technical view and not a fundamental view from Kunj Bansal. What Amar Singh, any thoughts on Vodafone Idea?
I would say currently it's approaching the 5 mark. Now, if you look at this, it's if it manages to sustain above the 5 mark, then it has a potential to rally towards high that it had made on 16th March towards 7 rupees or so. But I would say that one needs to be cautious in this stock.
Be cautious in this one. Maybe playing Bharti might be a better bet. One final query that we can take, and that's a fundamental view that is being asked for. Sagar Patil is asking for a view on Piramal Enterprises. Kunj Bansal, maybe Piramal individually, or maybe just companies which are now having to resort to customers taking so much more moratorium. ICICI Bank yesterday, Piramal Enterprises, or rather ICICI Bank day before yesterday said that. Piramal in the call yesterday said 85 to 90% of the clients have taken moratorium. Any thoughts on this business? It also has the pharma piece, but the NBFC piece is just so large right now and so much in the news.
Yeah, so I particularly don't track this company. So since the question is specifically on this company, I won't be able to give a view. But very briefly touching on the broader BFSI space, given the way uncertainties have lined up, I think within BFSI, if I were to choose sub-segments, my top sub-segment to invest will be insurance companies, both life and general, followed still by private sector banks. And then followed, I have turned them off, some of the quality entities not focused on real estate finance.
Okay. There is some technical selling that we're seeing in Reliance. By the way, it's down 6.5 at 1477. So whatever is happening in Vodafone and Bharti is probably got nothing to do with tariffs. Keep that in mind, because if tariffs are moving up, if one player is hiking tariffs or even thinking of that, it's not that it won't impact Reliance. There could also be some selling in Reliance simply because, as I said, today is the last day. So now people might be, opportunistic traders might be wanting to do multiple things, including go short on Reliance from the start of the trading day because post the record date, which is May 14th, but today is the last day to buy for that record date. You don't necessarily need to buy tomorrow in order to have your name for buying that one share out of the 15 shares at a price of 12.57. I hope viewers, you're trying to get what I'm trying to say. Do watch out. Reliance is the top loser, the sore spot in the session today. One final word, Kunj, before we let you go. Today's report on Asian Paints created quite a stir from Goldman Sachs, but these views differ, right? One brokerage is really bearish, Nomura came out with a note on 29th April, very bullish, and views are quite disparate out here. What are your thoughts on the paints space, and do you reckon that there could be down trading and therefore these stocks should, if you have it in your portfolio, get out of them?
Yeah, so two, three things. One, I haven't seen any of these reports that you have mentioned, but be that as it may, unless there will be different views in the market, there won't be buyers and sellers. We will not have a market running. We will not have liquidity. So it's good that we have participants with a view on both sides. Coming to my view, I think only one result of Kansai has come in till now, and which has expectedly shown volume growth. I think the same will be the case with the industry. So that is where the bigger challenge. On one hand, they are clearly getting benefit of the lower raw material prices. We have seen in the cement industry also, the same raw material price benefit will be seen in the paints also. So till the time they pass on, they can keep that cushion of the price benefit. But since clearly there hasn't been demand, there won't be demand. That will be a bigger challenge. The top line won't be there. As a result, economies of scale may not be there. In turn, while the margin may be improved from raw material, but come down because of the not coverage or less coverage of the fixed cost. So I think in the order of sectors which will do well in terms of demand continues to remain the other end of consumer goods, which is the food and hygiene. That is where I think the interest will continue. For me, paint companies for now will be out of radar.
Excuse me, we'll leave it at that, Kunj. Thanks so much for joining today and giving us your thoughts. Appreciate your time. Okay, by the way, I must mark some stocks for the kind of moves that they have made. I'm obsessed with Reliance, though I think we should take that call. Just comment on this one, Brijesh. You are bullish on the market, but Reliance is just coming off like it's sliding down off a cliff. What happens to this one?
Neeraj, if you look at the outperformance from Reliance in last 10-15 trading sessions, we have seen a strong outperformance. I think some profit booking is happening in Reliance. So still, if you look at the week-on-week chart, still we are very much bullish and we haven't breached the weekly levels. So still bullish remains to be bullish structure. 1456 tends to be a good buying opportunity technically. So I would go long on 1456 in case tomorrow sessions we have those levels, keeping a stop loss of 1420 on the downside and expecting back to 1570, 1580 on the upside.
Okay, and the other one is Vedanta. Amar, some robust moves today, 13%. It's a big blockbuster uptick that we're seeing, big bar there. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say the stock was consolidating for quite some time. If you look at the charts, almost for 7-8 trading sessions, it was trading, I would say, very flat, unable to breach the 77 low, at the same time unable to breach the 80 high. So it has taken out, and also if you look at the volumes today, that is significant. So clearly shows that the stock is trying to form a bottom, and even on the, I would say, the weekly charts, the stock has reached a crucial resistance zone. So if the stock manages to sustain above 90, 92 levels, then it has the potential to rally towards 100, 105 levels on the upside.
Okay, Bandhan Bank numbers are out as well, and I think the net profit compared to estimates has come off, but I think we'll wait for the other numbers, the provisioning numbers and all of that to come out before we try and talk more about Bandhan. So keep that a stock at the back of your mind. It could be reactive, and that's why I'm just saying that mind and watch out for Bandhan Bank in the session today. That's an important stock. It's a large market cap stock as well, and it's down about 2.5 right now. Let's wait and watch how it reacts to the other numbers coming in. As of now, I just seen the net profit number on my alert list right now. Okay, what else? There is, let's take in top closing strategies. Amar, I'll come to you. I've asked you a lot of stocks on my own. One top closing strategy from your end.
I would say one can look at Aurobindo Pharma. This is one stock, if you look at it technically on the charts, be it the long-term charts, intermediate or the short-term. The stock continues to be extremely strong, and it has breached a crucial resistance zone also. So any pullback in the stock can be used as a buying opportunity. Ideally, it's currently around 690 odd levels. Any pullback towards 675 odd levels can be used as a very good buying opportunity with a stop loss of 647 and a target of 715 on the upside.
Okay, what about you, Brijesh? Your top closing strategy would be?
I would go long on Jubilant Foodwork, Neeraj. As I said, I'm expecting good upside momentum towards 1680 on the upside, keeping a stop loss of 1540 on the downside.
Okay, just some numbers. I'm just reading them out from the alert screen that I have. The NPAs, gross NPAs at 1.48 versus 1.93 for Bandhan Bank. So those numbers don't look all that terrible. In fact, they look much better. Net NPAs 0.58 versus 0.81 quarter on quarter. Remember, I think provisioning at 827 versus 150. I think the provisioning has really gone up for Bandhan Bank. I don't know if that is viewed positively by the markets or otherwise, but the stock isn't quite doing too much except for those flash reactions. Let's wait for some other details to come. It's just 4 minutes left, so I think most analysis can probably happen post-market. But this is about the information that we have for Bandhan Bank right now. Before we start closing in the markets, some of the big movers, and I just want to ask our guests as to what do they do with them. Quick thoughts, 30 seconds each. Amar Singh, Bajaj Finance. If somebody went long at the start of the day, would you carry home the longs?
Yeah, I would say that one can carry the position, and look at booking profit somewhere around 2100.
Okay. Brijesh, somebody went long on Bharti Airtel. Would you carry home the longs?
Definitely hold for a target of 582 on the upside.
582 on the upside. Okay. If you were short, Brijesh, on Asian Paints, would you carry home the short positions?
Yeah, definitely, because these we are witnessing huge short covering building up on Asian, and stock is forming lower high, lower low structure. So definitely a short. Another 7-8% downside can be expected.
Another 7-8% downside can be expected. Mind you, so that's Brijesh's view on this one. The last but not least, stock that's been very choppy and volatile the last few days. Amar, quick thoughts out here on Z Entertainment. It's ending marginally in the red, but has seen good intraday traction. What do you do? Let's say if you were short here, would you cover your shorts?
Yeah, I would say because the stock is completely in a trendless zone, so rather stay away from the stock.
Stay away. But so if you were short or if you were long, you would cover your positions. You would not stay short on this, I presume.
Yes, definitely not short at these levels.
Not short at these levels, yes. Okay. Well, those are some large caps. Maybe just time for a couple of mid caps because we started the show a bit late today, viewers. So I'm going to take the liberty of asking some more stocks to my experts instead of trying to wrap up the markets on my own. Shriram Transport, Brijesh, 9% lower. What do the charts of the positions suggest here?
More pain to come, Neeraj, because we had seen a rally from 620. So retest can be of 620, 630 can be on cards. So go out short, being a stop loss of 691.
Okay. Amar, Interglobe, 2 days on a trot. Big moves there. For somebody who was long, cover the long positions or stay long?
Which stock?
Indigo.
Yeah, I would say Indigo, one should definitely look at booking profits because the stock is approaching a crucial resistance zone of around 1020-25 levels.
Okay. And Amar, quick thoughts. Would you carry home longs on the Nifty Bank?
Yeah, I would say, Nifty Bank, one can look at carrying forward because the stock seems to, the index seems to be forming some base. Trading above 19,000 would be a better idea that it would sustain the gains.
Okay, gentlemen, stay on. We have about 60 seconds left. I'll quickly wrap up the markets. Forget the index. We already discussed the index ad nauseum or the index components. Yes, Reliance and some of the others. The mid-cap end of the market is names like Hathway Cable, up about 20%, TV18 up about 9%. I think all Den Networks, Hathway Cable, etc., all of them are up. It has to do with maybe some announcement that might happen in around dues or whatever, but because all those names are up, and TV18 too, by the way, has gained about 9.5%. So that stock is up and about in the session. DCB Bank up 5.5%. It's not just the large banks, the mid-sized banks have done well. Mind you, HDFC and Kotak haven't, and therefore it will be interesting to see what they do in the session tomorrow, if indeed the optimism is to last. What's not done well? Indiabulls Real Estate has corrected. J&K Bank is down about 4.5%. Then that's okay. Doesn't matter too much. It's a tiny toon name now compared to what it used to be. And Bandhan Bank is about 1.5% lower, nothing too dramatic. It's just about meandering. Z ends in the green. Piramal Enterprises are remarkable intraday pullback, and we are awaiting Nestle India numbers. They'll come out maybe post-market hours. So it'll be interesting to see what that stock does in the session tomorrow once those numbers are out. So that's the other one that you have to monitor. Anything in the small cap space, very quick thoughts there. If I can find out something that is worth highlighting in the small caps, I mean, Snowman Logistics, Saregama, Aegis Logistics, etc. The logistic players have all gone down today. Nothing too dramatic. I'm guessing the extension of lockdown news is never positive news for logistic players. What's done well? everything related to media has. NDTV is up about 20%. Balaji Telly is up about 10%. So I think the media pack has some remarkable upticks in the session today. Sobha up about 5%. I think the Godrej Group company buying Sobha, and maybe that's why the market seems to be liking that. SpiceJet has some gains today as well. So that stock is up about 5% at 42 or 43. To watch out for that. Real estate, media, aviation, really good pockets, all of them doing well for themselves. Okay, final thoughts from our experts. Amar, I'll come to you first. We haven't taken your Nifty call. What do you make of the intraday movement today?
If you look at Nifty, overall, we are seeing that Nifty is finding strong support around the 9,000, 9,100 zone. So that's the reason, and also one of the technical indicators has moved into oversold territory. So that's the reason we are seeing a pullback. But till the time we don't see Nifty sustaining of the 9,400, 450 mark, we could see some choppy trading sessions. But at the same time, one needs to be very careful that the long-term trends are continue to be extremely weak on the indices.
That's true. Now, Brijesh, follow up to your initial view. If there are no announcements, let's say, and the markets don't get any kicker today and they start off lower tomorrow, would you hold on to your longs or would you cut them?
Yeah, Neeraj, I will hold on to longs with keeping a stop loss of 18,445 on Bank Nifty. Nifty, I am slightly suspicious because if you look at the Reliance today was the culprit. So I think I would go for Bank Nifty on a long side, even if it's open 18,600, 18,650. Keeping a stop loss of 18,445, I would definitely go long.
Jaman, both of you, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us today and giving us your thoughts, and stay safe, most importantly.
Bye, Neeraj.
And viewers, thanks for tuning into this leg of Countdown. I hope we were able to answer some of your questions. Obviously, we can't answer all, but stay safe, all of you as well, and trade safe. Thanks so much for watching.